You're about to listen to a podcast full of wonder, excitement, and discovery. It's time for an adventure through Odyssey. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adventures Through Odyssey podcast, Odyssey Revisited. I'm Will, here with Gabe and John, and in the words of a robot voiced by John DiMaggio, we're back, baby! After 2 weeks off the air, because
what a great reference to put in a reviewing Christian audio drama podcast.
I don't think 5-year-olds are listening to this show, but I could be completely wrong. I figured this was intended at the people who grew up listening to Odyssey.
For a second, I was wondering, what is he gonna say? Because there's a lot of inappropriate things you could have quoted from that.
Okay, but we just had some conflicting schedules, and we've come up with a way to keep that from happening. So,
which we will explain when it comes.
Yeah, we'll explain it at the end of the show. But I know I said last time we were going to do album 22, but I was just so excited to do this, I figured we'd just do it now, and everyone seemed on board with it.
And I'm sure we will all take this completely seriously.
Yeah, so...
Yes, definitely. It's going to be serious.
Yes. So we are casting a live-action movie, which we figured would be kind of fun.
Theoretical, because we know this would never happen.
Well, it could, but if we were...
it's not going to happen.
Well, you never know.
With A-list actors.
With A-list, but maybe someone will hear this podcast and hire us on to do the movie.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, maybe hire us on to do a cameo sitting at Wits End's booth. Okay, because if it was an animated movie, we would just bring in the normal cast, and I would say do it in stop motion. But Okay, so to explain to everybody how this works, I sent out a list of characters we had to cast, and then if we found anybody, we could just add them.
Yeah,
now,
and I'm sure we all got that whole cast.
Yes, now
Someone here is a rebel.
Yes. Now, we are not going to belittle each other's decisions, right?
Okay. Yeah, can we make that true for mine? Because I took this only half seriously.
As long as
I'm not gonna lie.
As long as you didn't cast...
Will, don't even say anyone possibly.
Okay.
Okay?
You can tell I'm just going to say, you can tell basically the shows that I watch for my cast.
Yeah, kind of the same here. Yeah. You can tell which network I prefer comedy-wise from this list.
Okay, so let's start.
Okay, so
guys, Jimmy Fallon would be a great wit, right?
Oh,
yeah.
But seriously, Colbert is Edwin Blackard. Actually,
okay, that would be funny. But
yeah, John would just be there midnight to see that.
We're not casting him.
Right, okay. So we also had to come up with a plot, so if everyone could read off their plot quickly before we start.
Okay.
Okay, if you really wanted it, zombie apocalypse.
Really?
I have seemed to forgotten my plot because I didn't write it down.
Well, thankfully, I do have a plot. Well, John, I know, is just scribbling his down. It's the
I'm not even scribbling it.
It's the 25th anniversary of Wits End, and everyone starts coming back for a big celebration, just as something seems to be going wrong with the Imagination Station. Meanwhile, Jason and a secret agent who's the big surprise reveal at the end are out on a mission because Dr. Blackard might not be as dead as they thought.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, I'm sure you all know who the surprise secret agent is, but that's not really the point.
Okay. So, my plot, it's a normal kind of day in Odyssey. No, it doesn't seem to be any kind of mind control schemes going on, but then we find out Novacom's backup plan. There are nuclear warheads under Odyssey, and one of them's about to go off in 24 hours.
Code word.
That's the plot. That's the plot I just came up with.
Code word what?
Jello.
Wouldn't it be applesauce?
It's a joke.
I know.
Well.
Okay.
And so, they gotta do some stuff and stop that nuclear warhead, or maybe they don't stop it, and it goes, the second half of the movie
maybe they pull a
is
little House on the Prairie set explosion on us and just lose everything.
Okay, everyone. So, I didn't want to do a plot that was just an episode, because that would seem a little redundant if you're a fan. Because I think the
sure.
Uncharted movie's just doing the first game, so...
Well, that makes sense for them to do it,
Well,
honestly.
I would prefer a new plot, but okay. So let's start off with Mr. Whitaker. Gabe, would you like to kick this off?
Okay, so I came up with this maybe less than an hour ago, but I feel like he could do it because he's a very good actor. Tom Hanks.
Okay. Alright, that's a good choice. John?
Well, I want to hear yours first.
So I have Dan Aykroyd as Wit. Because I'm going to be honest, he kind of looks like Wit. Because for the longest time this was Bill Murray, then I kind of thought that Dan Aykroyd looks more like Wit.
Okay, so despite people saying not to do this, I shall do this.
Oh no.
The perfect wit is Morgan Freeman.
Of course. The one thing I told you guys not to do.
There can be a black James Bond. There can be a black John Avery Whitaker.
Well, yes, but how do we explain?
It shouldn't matter.
Well, hopefully you cast a
because-
black Jason then.
I didn't cast a Jason.
Code word Falcon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gabe, for making references. Alright, next.
That
Connie.
wasn't being sarcastic. Mostly.
Alright, next, who do we have as Connie?
I'll start with this one. Well, I was on a roll picking your favorite actors for this, so I chose Anna Kendrick.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, I did too. I feel like she's perfect for
She
Connie.
would fit.
I just don't like Anna Kendrick, but I don't like the Pitch Perfect movies. She looks like that girl who tried way too hard to be sullen in high school and annoyed everybody. But anyway, I have Brie Larson as Connie.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah, so this is going to be half the list me explaining who. So does anyone remember the movie Hoot?
Yeah.
She's the girl in that, but I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. I just found out she was in it an hour ago. But more recently, she's in a movie called Room, which is like
honestly, I don't think I've seen her in a movie, but just looking at a picture, I'm not feeling it.
You have to see her in a movie to feel it. So Eugene.
Okay, I'll go first because not very many people are gonna know him, but he just looks just like him. He's gonna have to get rid of the slight, maybe southern accent. I'm not sure, but Link Neal from Good Mythical Morning. Just look him up. He looks so much like him.
Yeah, you told me about this before, and I did, and I do sort of agree. And actually, that'll be a very probable person to get because he probably won't command that much money.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you want to hear?
and they're actually good actors.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to my Eugene. Again, keeping with my trend of fabulous actors that would totally fit the role, I got Will Wheaton as Eugene.
Will Wheaton. Yeah, you see, I almost cast Jim Parsons as Eugene, but then I realized that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But my Eugene is Ben Whishaw.
Okay.
Q from Skyfall.
Okay, that works. That would probably actually be a realistically good person, but they could never get him, so.
Well, you never know. He's only been in Skyfall and Paddington.
Right.
And Spectre, which I heard is kind of meh. But,
I heard it was good.
This is another one. What do you guys think of Rob Lowe for Eugene?
that is literally one of the best backup choices I've ever heard.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I think he could fit.
Honestly, I think Rob Lowe might make a better Leonard.
Yeah.
Just because he's a little older.
Right.
But he's a good choice, I'll say that. Okay, did anyone besides me cast Katrina?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go first. Mine's ridiculous.
So was mine, but Tina Fey. Because I always complain she plays the same part, and technically Katrina kind of falls into that same part.
Hold on. One sec.
So, Gabe, who did you cast?
Okay, Anne Hathaway.
I have Anne Hathaway just a little further down the list.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do her for Penny.
I didn't do her for Penny.
Okay.
This isn't an extra character I cast who, if we do an Odyssey movie, she has to be in.
I just feel like the new Katrina, the voice actor, just kind of reminds me of Anne Hathaway a little bit.
Okay.
So.
John, did you cast Katrina?
Katrina is currently out of town during my movie.
All right.
Sad.
This is probably going to be our most fun choice, Wooten.
Okay, so, again, back to my top choice. Weird Al.
Okay, I truly thought of Weird Al, but he and Jess Harnell look so similar anyway. You might as well just cast Jess Harnell, though.
No, you gotta bring in that notoriety.
Gabe?
Okay. I actually think this would be good. You're gonna laugh, but it's gonna be good.
Go ahead.
Adam Sandler.
Get out!
And I have a backup that I actually think is really good, too.
Who's your backup?
James Corden.
Yeah, James Corden would actually be a good choice.
Yeah.
I actually think he's a better choice than Sandler.
Possibly.
Okay, my Wooten is Chris Pratt.
Nah, too handsome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, if more based off Parks and Rec than Guardians or Jurassic World.
Right. Okay.
All right, Penny.
This happened before Penny moved to town. My movie.
Gabe.
Okay. I just kind of pulled a character from a show that I like. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly. Janelle Milani.
Who is she?
She's from West Wing.
I do not watch West Wing, so let me look that up. But if you could explain why to our lovely viewers while I do that.
Well, I think she's smarter than Penny, but I think I think she could easily fit the role.
Yeah, I see it. All right, so I have the same thing with you and Wooten, where I've got a one Penny and a backup Penny. So the Penny, I would cast Ellie Kemper as Penny.
Okay.
Since Gabe has a blank expression on his face, have you seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix?
No.
Have you seen The Office?
Yes.
She's the redheaded secretary.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, then I also have
Definitely.
Alison Brie as Penny, who is the voice of Unikitty in the Lego Movie.
I like the first one better.
Yeah. All right, so on to Tom Riley.
Okay. So, I actually have this one. So, one thing I've noticed during most Morgan Freeman movies is that there's also one older actor in there. Michael Caine.
I knew you were going to say that, too.
You know, it would fit. You know, he could do it. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Gabe?
Okay, this one's also from West Wing. Martin Sheen.
I do know him, and I could see that. Okay, mine's a little less ambitious.
Yeah.
All right, so for my Tom, I have Ron Howard. A bit of a less ambitious choice, but he kind of would do a good down-home farmer. So what about Bernard Walton?
Okay, guys. I might have the best pick for this one. See, when looking at Bernard, we needed someone who's a little cynical, who had some problems with the world, and had... But, yeah, okay. I couldn't think of anything else to say, really. So, Christopher Walken. He's got that kind of cynical attitude.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
I'll
works.
play a character in the Odyssey movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Gabe, do you have someone a little less crazy?
No, mine probably is not good. It's not good at all. So, it's Ian McKellen.
Not as
I would have seen
good.
him more as a
Yeah, it's
blackguard.
not. Christopher Walken's way better.
Yeah. I have Neil Flynn. He's the dad on the middle, if anyone's confused.
Oh, that would work.
Yeah.
And while John is zipping off to get candy again, we're moving into our, we made up these characters and casted them without the list, outside of the kids, which I told them to do. So I had way more extra people casted than Gabe.
Oh, I have 2 more.
Adults or kids?
Yeah. I have Blackard and Jason.
Oh, okay, Okay, John's back. Alright, so let's start with Jason.
Okay, so I didn't know I was supposed to pick Jason, but Jason is in my movie. So, because Whit is played by Morgan Freeman, and we don't want to do that adoption thing, I'm going to pick the only guy I can think off the top of my head. It's whoever played...
Human Torch.
The Human Torch in Fantastic
Michael B.
Four.
Jordan, which is actually a pretty good choice.
I thought you were going to say Will Smith at first. I was like...
Oh, no. No, if you had to do... You would have to choose Jaden Smith if you were going to do that.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of Michael B. Jordan if you're going with Black Wit. So my Jason is a very boring choice. I chose Matt Damon.
Okay, that was what I was going to choose, but I came up with a different one.
Please enlighten us.
Chris Evans.
Okay, that could work.
I think he's... I think he would be okay.
Yeah. Alright, so Dr. Blackard.
Well, mine's really bad, so someone can go first.
Okay. So, this one actually, you gotta choose an evil person for...
Well, we don't want to
villain.
cast Ricky Gervais.
And then also, this works if there's a Dungeons and Dragons incorporation into this movie. My choice, Alan Rickman.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Alright, so I've got 2 Dr. Blackards, but for 2 different reasons. If we're just casting Dr. Blackard, Benedict Cumberbatch. If we are casting both Dr. Blackard and Edwin Blackard, Kelsey Grammer plays both roles. Because then at the end, Whit could defeat Dr. Blackard with a rake.
Ha ha ha. Badach.
So Gabe, your Dr. Blackard?
I came up with this a little bit ago, and he would kind of be a little bit less cynical and more funny. Stephen Merchant.
Okay. Yeah, that could work. That could work. Alright, so now we move on to the kids of Odyssey. Would you like to start?
Okay.
Gabe?
So,
No, go ahead, John, you start.
You can start. Okay, so when looking... Think about the kids of Odyssey. They're all pretty adventurous kind of kids, right?
Oh, no.
I have no idea what you think I'm going to say, but I'm going to keep going. They're pretty adventurous, and, you know, they got good hearts. They got to do what's right. So, I know the fact that this is rather old, and they're grown up now.
Is this the Goonies?
If you could go back in time... Yeah, the child cast of the Goonies. That's seriously what I had written down.
I don't even like that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
Gabe, please tell us you got someone a little better. Or at least doable.
Well, I was thinking if I didn't choose Anna Kendrick for Connie, I would use her for, like, any older girl.
I guess they could still pull her off as, like, a high school age Lucy if they really wanted to.
Yeah. And that's all I have for kids.
Alright, so the way I casted my movie was, since it said in the future I could do some adult versions of the kids. So for adult Jimmy, I had Adrian Brody.
I would choose Chris Pratt.
For adult Donna, Emma Stone.
That's good.
Then for Clara, Anne Hathaway. You see, that way we can have the scene at the end where Wit and Claire are going to the Imagination Station to face off against Wit, and they start shutting down the system, and Blackguard can just shout, "What's going on, Mr. Whitaker?" "Oh, same old, just Mr. Whitaker and Clara Oswald in the Imagination Station."
Brah, brah, brah.
And I know Gabe isn't fully caught up on Doctor Who yet, so he probably didn't get that reference. And also, we could bring Clara back, who everyone loves that episode, right?
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
Then also, Kevin Hart as Marvin. Which,
I mean, he's a little too old.
well, yeah, but he's also kind of short, so they could pull him off as being a 20-year-old, maybe. Alright, so I clearly casted a few extra people, so I'm just going to run through these right now. Richard Maxwell, Andrew Scott, who was Moriarty in Sherlock. Philip Glossman, Will Arnett.
Wait, Philip Glossman?
Okay.
Oh. Not feeling that one.
Ed Washington, Key from Key and Peele. Elaine, Yvette Nicole Brown, who is a character on Community.
Be right back.
Alright, so the final person I have, you may have realized I mentioned there was a surprise reveal of who the other secret agent is, but I think we all know who I'm talking about.
Monty?
Ha ha ha. Mitch. So for Mitch I have Andy Daly. Okay, and now it's time for Will mentions a show no one who was listening to this podcast has ever seen, but he's the lead in a show called Review.
Oh, no!
He kind of looks like Mitch. Like, go look up...
I would have gone... I always forget his name, but he's the guy who played Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner.
John, go look up the official picture of Mitch. They look pretty similar. Just the actual actor's head is rounder.
Okay.
Wasn't that fun, everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So it is time for the trivia question. In the episode Scruples, what is the name of a movie Kurt and Lucy are supposed to be going to see?
Ladybug something.
Is it called? It's called Have You No Scruples or something. Wait, is it? You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
isn't it some Ladybug movie?
You're getting there. Do you have any guesses, Gabe?
No.
Oh, Butterfly or something.
You have the insect part down. You're just guessing all the wrong ones. Remember, the sequel came out like 20 years later with Marvin and Tamika.
Yeah, I just don't remember what movie it was.
What is it?
It's Betsy the Bumblebee. I was trying to pick a movie earlier question.
Let's look what that kid says.
Okay. So that almost wraps up this week, but in a sad piece of news, John will not be joining us next week. He's in a play. Which I'm not going to say what play it is or where you can see it because I don't want random podcast listeners showing up. But
It says Reebok.
What?
It's one of my lines.
Okay, he's in Godspell, but anyway. Okay, so we have come up with the idea of to bring in guest hosts if we know someone can't make it far enough in advance. So if Gabe cancels us a week in advance, we can find somebody. We are not going to ask fans to do this because we don't want random people who might be crazy. We're not saying anything about our fans. We prefer people we know and trust. So next week we're going to have a surprise guest, and to add to the surprise, we're not going to tell you who it is.
Because we don't know.
Well, actually, has the person I asked you to ask responded, Gabe?
Maybe, maybe not.
So she hasn't responded yet. Okay, I'm still working on it.
Is that a no that no she hasn't responded, or no to her not responding, which means she did respond? Or they responded. I don't know.
If she said no, that's fine. I just need to find somebody.
I'll let you know in a few days now.
All right. I mean, so she's probably going to say no. That's what you're saying.
I have no
This is
idea.
like the hand up
Who's
episode.
on first?
Okay. We're rambling now. Let's wrap this up.
I've got a few people lined up. I can text out a few more messages. But importantly, join us again. Join me, Gabe, and probably a special guest next time when we talk about Album 22, The Changing Times. Then be back here in 2 weeks when John returns and we talk about Album 55, The Deep End.
You can only hope I return.
All right. I hope you had fun with the movie casting. I'm sorry this wasn't the most exhilarating podcast, but I'm Will.
Happy Halloween.
It'll be November 3rd by the time I hear this.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm John, and I'm filming this on Halloween, and don't be a loser and take half of people's candy bowl when they're nice to let you take what candy you want from it. And then don't try to come back and say that you weren't here before. That's what I'm telling you to do. Okay, bye.
All right. Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and now Periscope. See you next week.